श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर की जय। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा माधव जय। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदा यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Jai Shri Radha Madhav ki, Jai Shri Radha Sham Sundar ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai. Hare Krishna. We'll do this Mangala Charan. Om Adnyanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitamtam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome back. This is our last and final session for this retreat today. We have been talking about this topic of art of seeking forgiveness and forgiving. And today's session we are going to cover the art of forgiving. So in the first session we talked about what is Lord Krishna's character. What can we learn from him about forgiving? And we saw how wonderfully Lord forgives very easily without even asking for forgiveness, even when our action or intention, one of the two, is inappropriate. So, Lord Krishna, without even asking for the forgiveness, He forgives us. He accepts the good that we are giving and forgives the bad that is there. And even if both action and intentions are not good, they are both bad, as soon as we ask for forgiveness, Lord Krishna forgives us. And even in the situation where He doesn't directly forgive, where we have offended a devotee, in that case as well, what Lord Krishna does, He helps us. He directs us and says that now you go and seek forgiveness from your devotee. And that is how then we get forgiveness. So, we are trying to follow we are trying to follow the teachings of Lord Shri Krishna. And He is showing by His own personal example that we should be forgiving. And that is why we are also trying to develop this quality of forgiveness. But at the same time, we ourselves make so many mistakes. So because we are making so many mistakes, we have to also learn to seek forgiveness. So that is what we saw in yesterday's session, how we can seek forgiveness. So we saw there are 3 steps based on various incidents in Srimad Bhagavatam where the devotees are seeking forgiveness. We saw there are the 3 important steps that they follow, and we can learn from them. And when we make a mistake and we have to seek forgiveness, those are the 3 steps that we can step by step do. So what is the first step in seeking forgiveness? Genuine and specific appreciation that we have to do. And that's like groundwork that we are doing. But once we have genuinely and specifically appreciated, then what is the next thing that we should be doing? Recognizing our mistake. And there are 4 steps specifically that we have to do in recognizing our mistake. What is the first one?
Make a statement of what we did
Yeah. So first of all, we need to actually make sure that we have understood our mistake. What exactly we are apologizing for. And the person we are seeking forgiveness from, they should also understand that, okay, this is the mistake. Like this person who's seeking forgiveness is really genuinely understanding what he has done, he or she has done. And that is why we should actually clearly state what wrong I have done. Once we have mentioned, we have put the statement, what wrong I have done, what should we do next? Without any condition. Ifs, buts, no ifs and buts, no indirect apology, no conditional apology. We have to apologize without any conditions. Once we have done that, what is the next thing? Intention. Sometimes, most of the time, the intention which is within you, which is within your heart, only the action is outside. Action is external. Intention is internal. So other people are not able to see your intention. They are only able to see your action. And looking at your action, there is some misunderstanding because they don't know your intention. So what we should do? So we should clarify the intention. And that actually gives a little bit wider context for the other person. It becomes easier for them to forgive you. And that is why you can clarify your intention. And then some remedy. That now I have done some offense towards you, some mistake towards you. We suggest some remedy on our own, and the person who's forgiving, they may accept that, or they may actually suggest something else. But at least genuinely, we are giving a starting point that we are ready to do something. So that is how the second step. Then what is the third step? Remorse. So what is the difference between second and third? Where we are saying that we have to recognize our mistake, and then there is this remorse that is there. What is the difference? Remorse is internal. And second step was? Explaining. Like we were putting that into word. We are seeking apology or seeking forgiveness, not seeking apology, seeking forgiveness, and we are giving our apology. So it is by word we are expressing, but the remorse is internal. So suppose we do first and second step, but no remorse. What will happen? Saying for the sake of saying. But what will happen apart because of that? Come again. You will make that offense again because there is no remorse inside. You are not feeling genuinely sorry. but because we have this step by step, हाँ ये step हो गया, ये step हो गया, ये step हो गया, वो सारा हो गया. So now we are done. But that is not actually purifying your heart. Because without that remorse, the anartha in the heart is not going to go. And the anartha is not gone, then we are going to make that mistake again. So we saw that if the similar kind of situation is coming into our life again and again, that means we haven't learnt our lesson properly. And so Krishna is giving us the opportunity, putting us in the same standard so that we can appear for the same exam again and again. Till the time we pass the exam, we are not going to get the higher exam. So somehow or the other, if this situation is happening in our life, we have to introspect and see what am I doing wrong. So first, it is possible that we are not even seeking forgiveness. If you are not seeking forgiveness, it is going to come again and again. You are ruining your relationships as well, and the situation will keep coming. But even if you have seeking forgiveness, you have been seeking forgiveness, still, if the situation is coming again, then of course that anartha is not gone. Anartha is not burnt in the fire of remorse. The remorse is missing. So we have this genuine remorse, and then we can progress. So yesterday we were also seeing that that this process of forgiveness takes time, because the person who is hurt, he is also undergoing through some difficulty. He has this anger. He may be insulted in front of everyone. He may be very angry towards you. And because of that, he or she also takes some time to forgive. So if we are on that other side, where somebody has offended us, how should we actually change our mindset so that we are able to forgive easily? That is the topic that we are going to cover today. So first of all, in this, are there any other questions or comments from the last two sessions?
In the first session, we learned about how Krishna is merciful and forgiving. Is this applicable for us as well, or it's only for Krishna?
No, of course. We are actually going to take inspiration from him, right? So inspiration, that means Krishna is expecting that we should also be doing like that. If the action, and I will cover a little bit, while forgiving, how it is important that we have to ignore the action when the intention is good. We have to ignore the intention when the action is okay, but the intention was not good. So from like walking in the path that Krishna has given to us, we also have to actually take up that and forgive easily. Yeah, it is quite interesting that when we are teaching how to seek forgiveness, we give this detailed thing, no ifs and buts, do this, do that and everything. But when we are giving forgiveness, at that time you don't have to see any of this. We cannot take the same checklist and say, अरे प्रभु जी ने मुझे बहुत सारे कंडीशंस डाले. पहले तो इसने अप्रिशिएट ही नहीं किया, अप्रिशिएट भी नहीं किया. उसके बाद वो कंडीशनल में कितना इनडायरेक्ट अपोलॉजी था, और उसमें कितना उन्होंने कंडीशंस डाला है. और देखो रिमोर्स लुक भी दिख भी नहीं रहा है मुझे उसमें. We cannot actually use this reverse. As I said yesterday, आईना जब भी उठाया करो, ब्रज बिहारी प्रभु's that line is actually itched into my heart. आईना जब भी उठाया करो, पहले खुद देखो, फिर दिखाया करो. So we have to see ourselves, like these steps are for us when we are seeking forgiveness, what we should be doing. But somebody is giving the apology, we should not be using the same checklist for checking. नहीं, ये genuine apology नहीं था प्रभु. Try again, once again. Come back again tomorrow. Maybe you require some Srimad Bhagavatam study. Like yesterday's drama skits. Where is Pahaya? Vinay Prabhu and Homa Mataji, they were throwing verses at each other, right, in the skit to prove our own point. So similarly, we can also do that. We can actually use the scripture to judge others. But that is not the purpose of the scriptures. Purpose of the scriptures is not to actually use that and say that, Arey, you are not doing this, you are not doing that, you are not doing that. The purpose of the scriptures is what I am doing. So this is why we have to be very careful when we are applying these teachings in practical life. And I will elaborate a little bit further when we are talking about forgiving. While giving apology, we have to be perfectly apologizing. While receiving it, all the rules are removed. Whatever you get, you accept. Take the action, forget the intention. In that case, that is how we apply what Krishna has given to us. Okay. So, anything specifically for the last two sessions? Any questions or comments which I couldn't take for lack of time or whatever? So, I am taking it in the beginning itself so that I can then compress the content for the last session. Any questions? Okay, fine. Okay, let's talk about why we should forgive. Why forgive? You are suffering, correct. We talked about that very nicely. Yes, I think some of you were mentioning that how the person who has been offended or hurt is having so many negative emotions in their heart. And when they are angry or they are blasting on someone, what is happening is actually the mango is getting squeezed. The mango juice is going to come out. So if the suffering is coming out, what is inside? That is also suffering as well. And generally you would be having more and you are only giving a part of it to others. We looked at so many quotes on day 1, on Friday. We were seeing that the person who is seeking revenge, they are digging 2 graves, one for the other person and one for himself as well, or herself, isn't it? Then we also saw that if you are having a burning coal in your hand to throw onto someone else, the other person is also going to have some suffering because you are throwing some burning coal onto them, but you are holding longer. Your hand is going to get burned even more than the other person. So this is why you have to, first thing is we should forgive because you want to get rid of your suffering. Right? What else? Restore the relationship. Because it is Srila Prabhupada who used to say, Srila Prabhupada said that this mentality, he's talking about this mentality that if someone offends us, we want to actually seek revenge onto them, somehow or the other. So Srila Prabhupada used to say that it is like a tit for tat mentality. And he said that this is foolish. Tit for tat mentality is foolish. And Mahatma Gandhi had said that if an eye for an eye is our philosophy, then that will make the whole world blind. So tit for tat, if we actually continue doing like that, then we will never be able to have any good relationship with anyone. Only when there is forgiveness, only when you are able to tolerate somebody else's faults. And why you should tolerate somebody else's faults? No one is perfect. What is that telling us? We also are having so many anarthas. So, okay, this person has made a mistake today, but we are also making so many mistakes. And so suppose we are now, say, senior devotee, here somewhere it is mentioned, I am senior and he is junior. So, if you are really a senior, then you should have got purified more than the other devotee, right? So, you are purified, you know the philosophy better. So you should be actually showing by your own example that you are more tolerant. Then you are senior. It is not by spending more years in Krishna consciousness you become senior. Right? So this is what we have to actually implement. Okay, what else? Why we should forgive? Yes, Mataji. Yeah, if you don't forgive, just to add on to what Mataji is saying, if you don't forgive and we keep this hatred or enmity or envy into our heart, we about a particular person, by meditating on them, if there are other anarthas that we are thinking about, a particular anartha in that person, that anartha will be developed in you. It's for sure. It's our favorite activity between Anang Manjari and me, that whenever we are actually doing something and we see some particular anartha in each other, then we actually quote someone that we have been meditating upon. See, you are becoming like that person. And you suddenly realize, oh, look at that. That we have been even negatively thinking about someone for a long time, and we start developing their qualities. And then suddenly we become conscious that no, I should be thinking more about some positive person, more about some advanced devotees, and that is how we can actually develop the qualities of those devotees. Otherwise, if we keep thinking about somebody else's anartha, we are going to develop that anartha ourselves. So at one particular point in a particular case, that we decided that, oh, we have to fine each other $5 each if we actually talk about a particular person. And that is how we just came out of it. That too much of thinking about someone and we start developing those qualities, it is not helping us. We want to progress in our Krishna consciousness. We have to forgive and move ahead. Right? What else? Why we should forgive? Yeah, spiritual progress also stops, as we were talking about, because we are going to develop others' anarthas. One most important point has not come yet. Why we should forgive?
Considering that I am also temporary and you are also temporary.
Okay, yeah, that is it. Yes, Krishna wants, the most important point is, Krishna wants us to forgive. Otherwise, why he has to be so forgiving? Why he is showing so many examples in all these pastimes in Srimad Bhagavatam, how he is forgiving even the worst kind of offense which Indra had done. He should have punished him very, very severely, right? That is the worst kind of offense anyone can do. Not only he is trying to kill Krishna, not only he is trying to kill one or two devotees of Krishna, not only he is trying to kill some, practicing devotee of Krishna, he is trying to kill entire the Vrindavan, all the Vrijavasis who are the purest of the devotees of Krishna. All of them together. That is the worst kind of offense anyone can do. But Krishna is forgiving him also. Isn't that amazing? So Krishna wants us to develop these qualities of forgiveness. So this is very, very important. Lord Krishna is showing by his own example. And he expects this quality from all of us. He is expecting it from us. If we are his devotees, if we are his followers, he is expecting that we show by our own example as well that how we are forgiving others, how we are tolerant, and how we are able to actually these minor offenses so easily we should just forgive. Maybe some serious offenses, it may take some time, but that is why he is giving everything, all this pastimes of his and pastimes of other devotees from which we can learn, and those serious offenses also we should be able to forgive. Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. So you remember the third thing was, see here action and intention both are bad. So if action and intention are both are bad, then there is no by default forgiveness you are getting. You have to seek forgiveness. And this is a very wonderful example. It comes in Ramayana. So when the Bibhishan comes and takes surrender of Lord Ram, so of course many of the ministers of Lord Ram at that time, like Jambavant was there, Hanuman was there, then Angad was there, Sugriv was there, and so many other important monkey soldiers, and they were there. And when Bibhishan was coming for taking shelter of Lord Ram, many of them suggested that we should not be accepting Bibhishan. Okay, because he is Ravana's brother, and we do not know what is his intention, what damage he could do, all of that. But finally, Lord Ram has accepted him, right? Lord Ram says that whoever comes to me and says and surrenders to me and says that I am yours, I will never abandon them. This is Lord Ram's guarantee and promise to all of us. So we have to just surrender to Lord Ram and say, I am yours. Then our job is done. And then the rest of that Lord Ram is doing. Anyway, so after Bibhishan had surrendered, the first thing Lord Ram did was his coronation ceremony. Bibhishan's coronation ceremony. So Bibhishan's coronation ceremony, he made him the king of Lanka. And everyone is thinking, अरे ये लंका तो हमारी भी नहीं है अभी तक, मतलब it is still owned by Ravana. And before that itself, you have actually made Bibhishan a king. So now, if like once you win Lanka, that is already gone. You have already given in charity to Bibhishan. So somebody asked a question to Lord Ram, what if, like by chance, Ravana also comes and surrenders to you? Because you have already given that Lanka to Bibhishan. Now if Ravan surrenders, what are you going to give to Ravan? He said, I will give him Ayodhya. So this is amazing. What was your question, Prabhu? I started talking about this. Yeah. So that is what I was coming to. So if Ravana surrenders, he is also going to get mercy of Lord Ram. But he doesn't surrender. That is the problem. So the problem is Ravana is in that third category where the action and intention both are bad. Kamsa is also in that third category. The Duryodhana is also in that third category. If by chance, if they seek forgiveness, just like Indra did, they would have also received forgiveness. That is why I was telling that story. So this is the difference. Even if you have committed some very serious offense, only thing that you have to do is go and seek forgiveness. And you will be forgiven by the Lord. But unfortunately, these people didn't do it. Okay?
Is it the reason because all old kings, which is in our history, even the enemy comes and surrenders to them, they used to forgive them? This is the principle behind that?
No, Lord Ram's principle is, okay, that is a Kshatriya principle. Kshatriya principle is that if anyone surrenders, then the surrendered person is never killed. So even if it is like a big enemy and you have been having enmity with that person for a long time, but still if he or she comes and surrenders, you will never kill them.
But punished to you not?
No, if they are surrendered, they remain as a surrendered servant of that person, and even they may be allowed to actually rule the kingdom, but they will be under the control of the main king. That is how they will continue. So, what was the point we were discussing?
About the previous kings, if they wanted. The point is, third point we're discussing about.
Yeah, anyway, Lord Krishna is showing by his own example, and he is expecting this quality from all of us. So we have to actually always remember that this is the expectation that is there by Lord from on all of us. He is expecting from all of us that we should learn to forgive. Okay, that is why we should forgive. The second thing is, it's a great relief for all of us, as we were all talking about. Let's do some practical example. Clench your fist. Okay, now you do it little bit tighter. Now more tight. Put some more effort. More. Go further. Is it hurting? Now you release it. Feels good, isn't it? Immediately there is relief. And that hatred and envy that we are actually putting inside is like that clinched, tighter and tighter, tighter and tighter. It is like that clinched fist. And as soon as we forgive, suddenly there is a relief that comes. And that is why it was mentioned that we are the jailer, we are the prisoner. We are keeping ourselves into this state. And it is in our hand. Jailer has the key. Just open and the prisoner is out. But we have kept ourselves locked inside. But as soon as we open ourselves, the relief is yours. So immediately we are going to get relief. The third thing is, of course, we become more peaceful and happier. Because now the problem in our heart is suddenly gone. There is a lot of peace. The hatred, envy, enmity, everything is gone. And suddenly, all these negative emotions which we were harboring in our heart, they are finished. They are gone. And there is now space for Krishna there. Krishna cannot stay in a heart which is filled of negative emotions. So we need to actually empty that heart of all these negative emotions so that we can make some space for Krishna. And we will become more peaceful and happy. And most importantly, it is said that Lord gets pleased by those who are forgiving. There is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. Let us look at that. Kshamaya rochate lakshmir Brahmi sauri yatha prabha Kshaminamashu bhagavams Tushyate haririshwaraha Kshamaya rochate lakshmir Brahmi sauri yatha prabha Kshaminamashu bhagavams Tushyate haririshwaraha. Someone can read the translation loudly.
The duty of a Brahmana is to culture the quality of forgiveness, which is illuminating like the sun. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, is pleased with those who are forgiven.
So, Tushyate haririshwaraha. So, it is coming from Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, 15th chapter, 40th verse. So, this pastime is... yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
I am unable to express in English. Telugu I can tell.
So, you tell someone to tell in Telugu?
ఎనిమిని ఎక్స్క్యూజ్ చేసాం అనుకోండి వాడు
So if we, what Prabhuji is saying that if we forgive an enemy, then it is a danger for you,
For us,
even in
for
the
us.
future, right? So
Future.
how will you forgive an enemy?
It's coming in the next slide. I'm going to explain just immediately after this that, not immediately after, I think in 1 or 2 slides, who we should forgive and who we should not forgive. Okay? So, but here it is called Kshamaya rochate lakshmir Brahmi sauri yatha prabha Kshamina mashu bhagavans Tushyate haririshwaraha. That Lord Krishna is pleased of those who are forgiving others. And a person who is having this quality of forgiveness, it is illuminating like the sun. Illuminating like the sun. And Lord Krishna becomes very, very pleased with such a person. So this pastime comes in 9th canto, as it is mentioned. There was a king called Kartaviri Arjuna. So Kartaviri Arjuna is very, very powerful. He had 1,000 arms, 1,000 hands he had. And he was more powerful even than Ravana. He defeated Ravana. So Ravana was so powerful that we see in Ramayana, but he was even more powerful than Ravana. And he defeated Ravana. So Kartaviri Arjuna once, he was roaming around in the forest with his army. And then his army was fatigued. He was also fatigued. And he was thinking, I should actually, we should take some rest somewhere. And we should take some bhojan ho jaye. So they were all hungry and fatigued. So they were looking for some shelter. And they see that there is a hermitage of Jamadagni Rishi. So they go and they talk to Jamadagni Rishi and say that, oh, my army is now fatigued. They want something. That can you actually provide us some food? And they were thinking, what the Rishi's hermitage can provide us? It's a small ashram and his army is thousands of people. But Jamadagni Rishi says that no problem. We will provide it to you. And then you have everyone seated. And then suddenly, in 10-15 minutes, suddenly they start bringing some wonderful feast. And it is like royal feast. It is not even some kandamula like some gajar or some fruits or whatever like that. But everything like cooked all the sweets, soups, pasta, pizza, I don't know what all he made, I was not there. But anyway, it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam that some royal feast came. And they were all so happy and they enjoyed that feast. And they are thinking, and Kartaviri Arjuna is thinking, hey, look at this. This sage is staying in the forest, but he is having an opulence as equal to mine. So he is the most powerful king at that time. And whatever opulence that he had, similar opulence, this person who's staying in the forest in a hermitage, he is having. So Kartaviri Arjuna was very surprised. So he went and asked Jamadagni, how come you are having all this opulence? Where is this coming from? And he said, oh, that is simple. I have a cow called Kamadhenu. And this Kamadhenu can fulfill all the desires that we have. So we ask and she provides. He says, really? Can I have a darshan of that Kamadhenu? And Jamadagni Rishi says that, yeah, that's fine. And he takes him, shows the Kamadhenu. He says that I want him. I want the cow now. Now imagine, generally the kings are supposed to give cows in charity to the Brahmana. Here the king is asking this cow, which the Rishi is using mainly for his sacrifices and everything that all the things which are in the required in the ashram, this cow is actually providing everything. Now if this cow is gone, how the Rishi is going to survive? But he says, no, I want this cow. He says, no, I cannot give you. She is required for all the puja and everything that we are doing. But he said, no, I am going to take by force. He says, okay, if the cow wants to come, you can take her. So he's trying to pull the cow, but cow is also not ready to go. So he said, okay, see, the cow is owned by me, I am not ready to give. The cow also doesn't want to come with you. You should not take her. He said, no, I am going to take. So forcibly, he takes the cow and goes. So after some time, Parshuram comes. Parshuram is the son of Jamadagni. Now this is very important thing. This important detail, if Kartaviri Arjuna would have known, he wouldn't have done this. But anyway, after some time, Parshuram comes back home, and then he sees that everyone is unhappy, they are sad, and then he finds out that, oh, this is what has happened. And Parshuram, why his name is Parshuram? Because he always carries a Parshu. He takes his Parshu and is very angry now, and he goes alone. Kartaviri Arjuna is more powerful than Ravana, and he also has his army. He alone defeats his army and kills Kartaviri Arjuna and brings the Kamadhenu back. So when he brings Kamadhenu back into the ashram, at that time Jamadagni Rishi is telling him that you are a Brahmana, you should not be behaving like a Kshatriya. Kshatriyas, like Brahmanas, are supposed to be tolerant, and they should not be having this desire of revenge. And we are very, very dear to Lord Krishna. Why? Because we have forgiveness. If we develop this quality of revenge into our heart, then we will not be pleasing to the Supreme Lord. So, if we want to please the Supreme Lord, we have to get rid of this revenge mentality from our heart, and we have to develop forgiveness. This forgiving nature we have to develop. But even though Krishna gets pleased, there are still lots of obstacles. And we have seen some obstacles there as well. The most problematic obstacle there is anger. Somebody has insulted me, the most pure devotee in this community, and someone was bad enough not to realize my wonderful qualities. And how come this person has insulted me? This other person must be the most wretched and most fallen person. Isn't it? Isn't that true? He is saying, yes, Prabhu. No, Prabhu. But anyway, that is what we are thinking at this point. When somebody has insulted or made some mistake or some offense towards us, we are very angry. And the anger, within anger, we think like this because in anger our brain is not working. That is why we start thinking that I am such a great person and this person is really so bad and he has done offense against me. There are many problems with the anger. Yes, Prabhu.
So in the previous example, the
That is coming, Prabhu, coming. Hold on to it. For a Brahmana, Brahmana's quality is tolerance. Brahmana's quality is forgiveness. So,
Suffering as well, right? After Kamadeva Munu has gone, there's suffering. And the right thing to do is to get it back if you have power, right?
yes.
If you have power, then you have
Okay. So when you don't have power, you forgive. Huh? you have power, you take revenge.
Prabhu, but if you have power, you should punish the person who have done a mistake, right?
What did Krishna do to Indra? Krishna had power, or Indra was more powerful than Krishna?
Okay, in that case,
And was Indra's
that is
mistake more worse than Kartaviri Arjuna's?
that is also one thing still going in my mind. It's probably easy for Krishna to forgive because he can like he can take whatever he wants again. I have only this cow. Kamadeva cow. Even though Indra takes and then give it back whatever, so even if it is gone, he can introduce another 100 cows.
Oh, because Krishna has all the opulence, it doesn't matter to him. He has so many devotees. If 100 are killed, for Krishna it doesn't matter, right? No, no.
Because in Rama's case, like Rama is ready to leave everything behind and he is ready to give Ayodhya also to Ravana, he was saying. So, I'm a bit confused.
Brahmana's quality is forgiving. Even if somebody takes away something from them, that they are not worried about it. They are dependent on Lord Krishna. And the idea is that if Krishna wanted this to happen, it is going to happen. If it was not Krishna's plan, it was Krishna's plan that Kamadhenu will not be going from my house, no matter whoever tries, whether it Kartaviri Arjuna comes or somebody else comes, they will not be able to take Kamadhenu from me. So they have this firm faith in the Supreme Lord. It's simple example, Prabhuji. So when we are talking about, it's like we are walking on the street and somebody like some big gundas come and they beat you up. Now you don't have power to retaliate against them, right? So they are too powerful than you. What do you do? No, Prabhu. You go to the police. So you will go to the police.
Here in New Zealand, police will say, you have threat from them, so don't come.
Anyway, where the police and the administrators are strong enough, if something happens like that, we actually take shelter of the more powerful. Because our Bollywood movies teach us what? कानून के अपने हाथ में नहीं लेना चाहिए, right? Don't take कानून in your hand. Isn't it? Why it is mentioned? Kanun, because the easy thing, a simple reason is that if you break the law, then you are also implicated in the crime. So somebody else has done the crime against you, and if you also to take revenge, you break the law, then you are also implicated. So that person is going to face the reaction for beating you up. But if you go and kill that person because of your anger, you are also going to get implicated and you are also going to be given some punishment. Wait, hold on. That is why I am saying that if you are having Brahminical quality, if you are Kshatriya or you are supposed to be taking action, then you are supposed to not forgive in that case. Yes, Prabhu. You can be Kshatriya Vaishnava as well. So, what we are trying to say is that this law of karma, for example, when children fight, obviously one of the child has started that problem. And then the other child also starts fighting. But when mother comes and the second child says, Mama, मैंने नहीं किया था, he started it. And the first one says, no, he started it. What mother does? Correct. Mother's logic is, who started it doesn't matter. Who is involved? Who is involved? And the mother's question is never who has started it. Mother's question is who is involved in this problem. Law of karma's question is same. Law of karma doesn't ask who started it. No, law of karma says who is involved in this problem. If you both are implicated in breaking the law, then both will be punished by law of karma. That is why we have to have faith. Do we not have faith in law of karma? Do we not have faith in Lord Krishna? If we have faith in Lord Krishna and we are as advanced as the devotees, we are currently in mode of passion. Quite a lot of mode of passion and mode of ignorance is there within us. We are only practicing devotees. And that is why it becomes too high a philosophy for implementation at this point in time. But this is the goal. Like when we develop those Brahminical qualities, then it will be natural for us. Jamadagni Rishi, he is going through it, right? It is real. It is not that it is just a story made up of. He is a real Rishi. And really his Kamdhenu was taken away. And still he was calm. It doesn't matter for him. Does it mean that Parshuram is, only Parshuram had the power? And the Jamadagni Rishi did not have power to stop the king and not allowing him to take the command? Yeah, he was tolerant. He is thinking that, okay, it is Lord Krishna's plan. Now Ambarish Maharaj, Durvasa Muni is actually sending this big demon. The Sudarshan Chakra came and protected him. But do you think that Ambarish Maharaj did not have power to kill that demon? Of course he had the power. He is a pure Vaishnava. If without asking, if the Sudarshan Chakra is coming to protect him, so if he asks, then what is there that it is not possible for him? But Ambarish Maharaj is thinking that without Krishna's arrangement, my death will not come. So if this Durvasa Muni has come and he is sending this demon to me, that is Lord's plan for me. Okay, I'll accept it. What is Parikshit Maharaj saying? Parikshit Maharaj is saying that 7 days I am going to die. Wow, this is an opportunity. Now who will be so happy in 7 days that you are going to die? He is saying, oh, 7 days I am going to be getting an opportunity to actually sit and hear Krishna Katha from great Vaishnavas. So I will leave everything behind, all my kingdom. I will go at the banks of Ganges and I will just listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is the quality of the devotees that we are hearing about. And over a period of time, our aim is to actually develop such qualities. And it is okay that we have this passion, we have this ignorance. And because of that, we are thinking that we should fight. We should take the Kanun apne hath, whatever. We should take the law in our hand. But that is okay for now. We should try to develop, we should try to progress further, one step further. But still we will see which, even though it is in our hands to punish someone or forgive someone, which things we should punish and which we should forgive. Just hold on. Okay, let's progress. So anger is generally the main obstacle because of which we are not forgiving someone. And the problem is with anger is it is misdirected most of the time. Someone else has angered us, you come home and blast on our children or our spouse or some other relatives. It is misdirected. It is coming from somewhere, released on somewhere else. Then it is out of proportion, mainly. It is like the problem was this much, the anger is this much. Just like what Dhruva Maharaj was trying to do. One Yaksha killed his brother Uttama, and his anger is, he is going to kill all Yakshas. The entire race will be annihilated of Yakshas. There will be no more Yakshas available. All gone. Just from the anger of Dhruva Maharaj. So this is the problem. Then it is self-centered. Self-centered means anger puts us in control. And we are thinking, I am now under control. And that is why we actually cherish that anger. We want to keep that and harbor it so that whenever we want, we can release on someone and we will feel good about it. It temporarily puts ourselves under control. And there is no productive effect that generally comes from anger. Most of the time, there are some negative effects only. Very rarely, if someone is able to direct the anger properly and it is not out of proportion, it is not self-centered, it is not coming from the hatred or envy like this, and then it will produce some positive result. Just like Hanuman did it by burning the Lanka. So he is in service of Lord Ram, he has done that activity. But who is having the potential or the character of Hanuman here? So that is why for most of us, anger is misdirected, it is out of proportion, it is self-centered, and there is no positive effect that it can produce. That is why this anger, which is our obstacle, needs to be removed. And how we can remove, we will come to it. And there is desire for revenge that we have in our heart. That someone has done something wrong to me. I have suffered, and you see around that this person may be just going around, say we are assuming in devotee community, right? So this person has insulted me and done this, and look at him or her. He or she is just going around in the devotee community and other people are praising this person. How come? And that actually starts even more, it makes you even more angry. And you want to actually somehow or the other pull that person also down. So that is why then we will start talking about that person to others. Saying that, Arey, you are saying something good about this person? Do you know what he or she has done to me? And then you actually tell the entire story. And then that is how we create even more karmic reaction for our own self. So I have a quick question for you. So why this desire of revenge that we have? Why do we want to hurt those who have given this hurt to us? Like, why do we want those who hurt us to also suffer? Whether we make them suffer ourselves or we want Krishna should punish them or someone else should punish them like that. Why that desire is there in our heart? Swaminder Prabhu? Newton's law. Action and reaction. We want reaction. Vidhi Mataji.
We want them to understand like how we got hurt.
Sitaramaya Prabhu, you have something to share with me? Yeah. So please share with me directly in future. Yeah, Mataji has raised a very good point. Mataji has said, do you understand Prabhuji? Sitaramaya Prabhuji, what did Vidhi Mataji said? Very wonderful point she raised. Why? Correct. So I would suggest that we should actually listen to when somebody is actually contributing. That way we are actually getting those points, right? So Vidhi Mataji raised a very wonderful point that we have suffered, we want to actually give the same experience to them. Right? You should also learn how the suffering is. I will take revenge and you will also suffer. Then we will be in the same boat. Yes, Mataji.
Once they understand how these others suffer, so they don't repeat it.
Oh, right. So we have this very good feeling that we want to teach them, that we want to correct them, that once I give you some punishment, you understand. See, if you do like this, this is the result that you get. Don't do it in future, okay? But that's right. This is sometimes we are thinking like this. Yes, Mother. Yeah, we want to be the enforcer of the law of karma. Arey, kaun rukega? When that reaction is going to come? I will give that. Anyway, he is going to get, right? He or she is going to get. I am just making Krishna's job easier. I am just giving it. Facilitating.
Sometimes I feel God is so merciful, so that he only takes before
Before
he
he forgives, huh? Oh, who knows? When it comes to Krishna's turn, he is so forgiving, he would forgive him or her. Before he even does that, वो दे देते हैं reaction. उसके बाद क्या करेगा?
Probably I feel that sometimes Krishna is so forgiving that he keeps forgiving, and you are like, when are you gonna come up for me, or when are you gonna come up to that person?
What was the fourth point when we were talking about Krishna's forgiving? No, if somebody offends a Vaishnava, his devotee, he doesn't forgive. He says, he never interferes in that. He says that, okay, even if you want forgiveness, you have to go and ask forgiveness from that person. Right? So we have to trust.
But then there are so many people in the world who do so much bad to children, like especially elderly and all that, and they don't get anything, like they don't ask forgiveness, they don't get their karma. Like
Who says?
I have yet to see that, Prabhuji.
This is our challenge because our vision is very small. We are only seeing a point in time. But Krishna is seeing the past lives and the future lives as well. And Krishna is definitely going to give the reaction to the person who has caused some harm. It is guaranteed. There is no doubt about it. So it is going to come. So that is why in the first 10 session, why we cover this topic, why bad things happen to good people, just to express, to understand this basic concept. That law of karma is infallible. Law of karma is infallible. It is mentioned that if there are millions of cows and the calf is now left in that millions of cows, the calf will find the mother in those millions of cows. It will not get confused. Arey, ye bhi cow hai, wo bhi cow hai. Which cow is my mother? No. The calf will go and find the mother exactly in those millions of cows. Similarly, the reaction is like that. Even if there are billions of people, it is not that by mistake, Are isko do ya usko do? No. You have done the action. Reaction is going to come to you only. It may come in this life. It may come in this life little bit later. Or it may come in the next life. Or after 10 lives. Yes, Sitaram, I approve.
With that matter you answered, because I mean, like in this context, we are looking for the reaction happening when we are alive or something, when we are saying it.
We want to see when we are alive.
Now it was the last karma, maybe the 1 year, 10 years, maybe next life or next life. So that is so, in this gap is
Yeah. That's very good. And the reason why this happens, why Krishna actually doesn't give the reaction immediately, is very important to understand. That when we are hurt or a particular person is causing some damage, at that time the situation or the amount of hurt that we are getting is because of the situation, like what context we are in. And immediately if you get the reaction, you may not feel the same hurt because you are not in that vulnerable situation or whatever, and you may not actually feel the trouble that or hurt that this person is feeling. So Krishna wants to actually give some reaction. So he will orchestrate a way that you are in a similar situation in future. And then you will be given the reaction. And you will understand, oh, the simple thing is, suppose a rich person is cheating a poor person. And he takes away $500 from that poor person, snatches. But that $500 was all that this person had. If you want immediate reaction, Krishna will say, okay, theek hai, immediate reaction chahiye tha na, I will take $500 from this person as well. Someone will steal $500 from him. It will not even matter to this rich person. He is a billionaire. So the hurt that he had caused is not as simple as just taking $500 from this person and he will be getting the same reaction. So Krishna has to actually organize. Krishna has to organize a situation where he will be put into same kind of trouble. And then he will understand, oh, and then he will get the reaction. So that is why Krishna will wait and sometimes find the right time and then give the reaction. Is that okay? Sitaramaya Prabhu, is that okay what Krishna is trying to do? No, but is it okay that Krishna is doing okay or not? No? Okay, that's good. That's good to know.
But here, I had a point here to, trying to understand the person who offended or who taken, they realize his mistake and he seek the forgiveness from them. If they forgiven, so the law of
So who has forgiven whom?
Because the mistake we both had offended, I seek forgiveness from him. He gave me forgiveness. He forgave me. So it won't be last time. I won't come in picture to.
No. Why we will? Yeah, it is finished. You have finished that, na Prabhu? See, what Krishna, fourth point was what? If the devotees are offended, then what Krishna does? Krishna is giving directly the reaction? No. Krishna is saying, go and seek forgiveness from this person. If the person doesn't seek forgiveness, then Krishna will actually organize the reaction for the person.
The question there is, if we forgive, the person who caused the hurt won't get the karmic reaction.
No. He will not go. Because he has forgiven, na Prabhu? He is forgiven. Correct.
Like Nityananda, who have forgiven, then immediately they got.
Their sins were taken away from the Lord, by the Lord.
Probably they are going to retain is this. Ask forgiven. Okay, even genuinely also you ask. It's just a matter of saying or feeling and saying. But there is no feeling involved. Or there is no
Yeah, okay. It's a good point. So there are gahano karmana gati. So karma's ways are unthinkable. It is very difficult to understand how the karma works. We can only understand the principles, some of the principles. So this can be, for example, there is one of the point is that there are so many benefits from forgiving. So why we should wait for someone asking for forgiveness from us? Isn't it? There are so many benefits of forgiving someone. But we are waiting for someone to actually come and ask forgiveness. Only then we are generously giving. And till then we are holding that coal inside our heart. What is the logic? Don't even wait for someone to come and ask for forgiveness. So immediately you give forgiveness. But then now this person hasn't even asking for forgiveness. So does it mean that once you have forgiven the person, the activity that he had done is right? No, forgiveness doesn't mean that the mistake that the other person has done is becoming wrong from right. Forgiveness means you are removing the resentment from your heart. Are you understanding the difference? Forgiveness, generally we think, how can I forgive? Because he has done something wrong. If you forgive, does it mean that wrong is going to become right? Forgiveness means you have this lot of resentment in your heart and that is damaging you. So you remove that resentment. That anger that is there in your heart, you remove it. And you forgive that person. But then the law of karma is still going to punish that person. Right? What we are talking about here is specifically, that's why in the beginning of this, we said that this particular seminar, we are talking about devotee relationship mainly. And some of these principles we can also use for the outside non-devotee world as well. But some changes will be there. Because they are going to still get some, their reaction is going to still come to them. But by seeking forgiveness and the remorse, that remorse part was very important. When we are seeking forgiveness as a devotee, when we are seeking forgiveness, the heart is burning. And that fire that is there in our heart, that is actually killing the karma. Because you are already suffering. Reaction is some suffering, right? And you are already voluntarily suffering. And because of that voluntary suffering in your heart, the law of karma is now finished there. Your reaction is burned down. But if there is no remorse, what did we say? The situation will come back again in your life. That means the law of karma is still acting. You are again actually going in the same situation, creating another offense, mistake. Somewhere, till the time the remorse doesn't come, the law of karma will still act on you as well as a devotee. That is why that entire 3-step process for seeking forgiveness is important. If that doesn't happen, you are still not fully forgiven, or you are still not completely free from the karmic reaction, and you still get the reactions. Right? So this is what is in general that we understand from law of karma. So we'll move on. I don't want to be another feedback session. And on law of karma, 2 hours we'll talk about law of karma only. Okay, so why do we want those who hurt us to also suffer? Any other points? We got very good points somewhere here.
I do not develop that forgiveness yet.
Yeah, so that anger and hatred is still there in our heart. Yes, Ramon.
The root cause may be that I'm not trusting Krishna.
Correct. Yeah. So we are still not having complete faith that Krishna's law will take care of this. So we want to take the law in our own hand. कानून को अपने हाथ में ले लिया. It gives pleasure. It is quite interesting that somehow or the other we get some pleasure out of it by harboring these negative intentions, and by keep talking about it to others. We are keeping that hurt alive. Like when that hurt is dying down, you suddenly remember, अरे उसने ऐसा किया था, उसने ऐसा किया. You will go and talk to 2 more people so that it remains burning. It remains boiling within. Right? No, it is our ignorance, Prabhu. It is demoniac quality only, but it is ignorance that we still have. Because finally still we are practicing devotees. We still have goodness, passion, ignorance, all 3 modes. And we are turning towards Krishna, trying to reduce passion and ignorance, increasing goodness, and develop more transcendental, more pure goodness. But still we are on that path. And while we are on that path, we still suffer from our other modes.
This forgiveness is not within us because we are still in the mode of passion. But for exalted people like Narada and they still got very angry. They were angry when Kanakuvera and Wellington were very angry and they gave them the sharp, right? So in that way, what we have to understand is there's a purpose for that. Actually, they would not have done that. Is that
See, anything that a devotee does is pure devotee does. Like it is too generic a statement. Anything that a devotee does is all right. No, a pure devotee like Narad Muni is doing is for the benefit of the world. So the curse that Narad Muni gives is also a blessing. Nothing from Narad Muni is bad. Whatever is coming, a curse comes, that's beneficial. A blessing comes, that's beneficial. Anything that comes, even if he passes by and just looks at you, that is beneficial. He doesn't look at you, it's still beneficial because you have looked at him. Right? So, beneficial. Everything, any association of pure devotee is beneficial. That's why it is said, Lava matra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hoye. It is not said that only if there is a favorable or whatever, like some Mahaprasad is received from a pure devotee, that is of course very beneficial. But a curse also is like Mahaprasad only from them. So Narad Muni is anything and everything is beneficial for us. So we don't have to actually compare ourselves like the anger that we have and the anger that a pure devotee has or even a spiritual master has on us is not in the same category as our anger. The main difference is the anger that we have that comes from envy and hatred, whereas the anger that a pure devotee as well as our spiritual masters like that they have is for our own benefit. And something positive comes out of that anger for our spiritual progress, whereas our anger is only destructive. So that is the main difference. So yeah, that's good point. That why did Narad Muni not wait for law of karma to work? Because of his mercy. Because normally Nalakuvera and Manigriva, if they would have continued their life like this, many millions of lifetimes would have gone before they would have got any mercy from the Supreme Lord. And Narad Muni wanted to speed that up. He is thinking that, अरे कुछ तो benefit होना चाहिए. Now that I have come in contact, so some benefit. So he gives this blessing to them that you will, in this next lifetime, when you become trees, in that lifetime itself you will become free. Now how can that be called a curse? Outwardly we calling it as a curse, but how can that be a curse? It is like immediately next lifetime. It is fast track, quickly you got. And quickly means we are thinking that, oh, there is thousands of years these trees were there. But without that, there would have been millions of lifetimes they would have taken. And then in future it was possible somewhere they would have got some mercy. So this is immediate. So, Narad Muni, if he was, did not want to give any mercy to them, he would have just ignored and gone ahead. But Narad Muni is not like that. He is very merciful. Pure devotees are not like that. They are merciful. They want, wherever they go, they want to speed up the Krishna consciousness. So out of that mercy, he is giving this blessing. We call it like it's called curse, but it is a blessing. So, who deserved, Prabhuji? Did we deserve to get bhakti? Are we like very exalted that somehow out of these billions of people, we were so exalted that of course I deserved bhakti? No, we never deserved ourselves as well, Prabhuji. That is why it is called mercy. When we get something which we are not qualified for. So, we were also not qualified, at least I was not qualified to receive all this mercy that I have received from so many devotees. And we should be grateful for that. So mercy is like that. That is the characteristic of mercy. We are not qualified and we get it. Okay?
This, you mentioned you forgive someone without they asking. Is that something similar like feedback? Like you don't give a feedback without asking?
No, feedback and mercy is different, Prabhuji. Feedback is where we are mostly the feedback is negative feedback, right? If positive feedback, that appreciation you should give without asking. Positive feedback is always good. You can give at any time. Only the criticism or some correction that we have to actually give, that we should not give without asking. But here, the mercy can be given to anyone and everyone. But whether they take it or not, that mercy, it is up to them. It is also not forced upon them. In this case, the special mercy can be given like this. Narad Muni always gives special mercy, Prabhuji.
That can also be mercy.
If when you become,
Merciful.
correct, Prabhuji. When you become pure devotee like Narad Muni, at that time you can roam around the entire world. And you can give without asking, no problem. It is allowed, feedback. You can give at that time. Merciful feedback. But when we have this envy in our heart, at that time, if you keep giving feedback like this, people will know our nature. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji, I will talk about it. Let me go ahead, please. Okay, I am going to move ahead from this slide.
So what do we desire?
What do we desire?
Is activity, is activity.
Yeah, you have already given the reasons, right? That why we want other people to suffer, because there are so many things which are there in our own heart. We are not having the pure heart, and that is why what we are doing is we are giving different reasons. We are saying that, oh, I am the wielder of the law of karma. I want to pass on the reaction, and because if it is envy that is there in my heart, the anger we are harboring because there is some pleasure in it. Sometimes we are giving because we want to actually give some correction to them, or sometimes we are giving so that there is some protection for us, that इस ऐसा रिएक्शन दूंगा वापस ऐसा मेरे साथ कभी नहीं करेगा, right? So we are actually trying to create protection or out of fear, so many things that we have in our heart. So that is why we are trying to also make the other person suffer. But this revengeful mentality, as I was mentioning, is a problem. What happens is when this law of karma, I am going to speak very briefly. Again, we have discussed this, but just to summarize. So suppose someone has done something wrong to you. Now that karma has already been done and some reaction is due on that person. Definitely that person is going to get the reaction, no doubt. But you decide, I want to give this reaction to this person. Okay, fine. So you decide that you want to give that reaction and you offer that reaction to this other person. Now from that person's perspective, his karma account is closed for that particular karma. He did the karma, he got the reaction. So that reaction is finished for him. Where is the karma now going to go? Comes to you. Because his karma is finished, but you have now done some karma of giving the reaction to that person. So that reaction is now sitting with you. So, this person who you are hating, that person is now free of karma. You have given the revenge, you have taken the revenge. You are going to suffer now further. He is free. You are stuck. So that is why we should not take the law in our hand. If you take the law in your hand, you are going to suffer. That is why we should wait for the law of karma to work on its own, and then it will be okay. So in devotee community, if something like that happens, the simple solution that we have, if something wrong happens to you, what should you do? Okay, forgive and simple thing. It is law, you should not take in your hand. Pass it on to somebody. That other person is supposed to maintain the community properly, right? It is not your job. You should offer forgiveness. That is in your hand. You should do it. You should pass it on, saying that I cannot do anything. Anyway, you are not supposed to do anything in like taking revenge or whatever, or gossiping about it. There is no point in doing that, because you are creating your own unnecessary karma for it. You just go back and talk to your senior who is supposed to do something about this and mention that this is the problem that I am having. What should I do? And the senior will say, okay, forgive. But at the same time, if there is something serious harm that has happened, the devotee who is in charge of administering, they will also definitely talk to other devotee and make sure that this doesn't happen. Worst case scenario, they may even ask that person to not come to the community anymore if there is some serious harm that is happening from that person. And that way they are protecting the community. So the protection is going to be offered from them. So that protection will come. But if you offer it, then there is a problem. Now what about that person, like that senior devotee, who's offering that reaction to someone else? What happens to that person? They will get reaction? You said something, bro. Okay, that is one. Someone's request, but finally he is giving the reaction to someone, right?
It is like a king who is giving punishment to the wrongdoer. So he is giving punishment because it is responsibility. So he need to correct.
Very good. That is a duty. Okay. That is what you are going to say. Okay, that is right. So the person who's supposed to, it is his duty. This is the difference. Was that your duty to give the reaction? No. But this person, it is his or her duty to actually offer protection and give reaction. For example, if you go to police and police says, "Arey, fine, I am very forgiving. So this thief has stolen something, or this person has murdered someone, but just forgive. You forgive, I forgive. Everyone forgives." No, he will not be a good police, right? We are expecting that they are protecting. They should protect. And that is where this finally, lot of people, this question has came, whom to forgive? Now this is only applicable to those people who are supposed to punish or forgive, like that. Like that police or this senior devotee who is supposed to actually keep the community properly. So for them, it is not applicable to actually you at this point. It is applicable to you as a parent. It is applicable to you for your children, or like that. You can still apply this. So only where, so this whom to forgive topic is applicable to someone who is duty bound to either punish or forgive. No, you have to forgive everyone. But those, like we were talking about the senior devotee that you have gone to, or we go to police, or we go to a king, and then king is going to, so king is deciding whom to forgive and whom to punish, because they are in that administrative role of giving the punishment. So this comes from Mahabharat. This conversation is between Bali Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj. So Mahabharat, Vana Parva, this conversation has been quoted. So Bali Maharaj went to Prahlad Maharaj and asked that which one is more appropriate, to punish or to forgive. So question is important, which one is more appropriate, to punish or to forgive? So Prahlad Maharaj thinks about it for a while and responds that neither to always punish or to always forgive is appropriate. Why? He says that if you say, suppose you always punish everyone, then you will be most unpopular person. You will never have any servants, you will never have anyone around you. And the first opportunity that the person gets, they will take some revenge on you. Whenever, like this person who is in more powerful position, as soon as this opportunity comes, the people will go against you. So you will not be able to maintain law and order anyway. Okay, what about if you always forgive? If you always forgive, then the subordinates will never pay any attention to the rules and regulations that you are trying to maintain. And again, there will be no law and order. So there will be no harmony in the community if that senior devotee is very forgiving or always punishing. So what should you do? So he gives some guidelines. He says that some of these can be forgiven, but you should never forgive these things. So let us look at what he suggests. So this is Prahlad Maharaj mentioning. So following person should be forgiven. But remember, we should be forgiving everyone. This is for those administrators who are supposed to, they are duty bound to administer and give some punishment sometimes. So what they should be doing? One who has done some nice service in the past, even if he is guilty of a grave fault, they should be forgiven, because they have done some wonderful service in the past. So remembering that, they should be given forgiveness. One who offends due to ignorance or foolishness, so such persons also can be forgiven. They are foolish, they made some mistake because of foolishness, so such things can be forgiven as well. Who is a first time offender? Always they were alright, the first mistake they have done, not that immediately we should forgive them. Immediately they should punish them. We should forgive them. One who has committed some wrong against his will. He or she did not want to do it, but somehow someone was forced to do it. So such mistakes also should be forgiven. Other offenders may also sometimes be forgiven to create a good public image. So good, this advice has been given by Prahlad Maharaj to Bali Maharaj. Now who should be punished? The following person should not be forgiven. They should be punished. One who has knowingly offended but claims to be innocent, even if his offense is slight, even if it's a small mistake, but he has purposely done it. And then now he or she is claiming to be innocent. Such people should not be forgiven. They should be punished. And the second offender, no matter how small the misbehavior, they should always be punished. So first time offender was okay. He should be forgiven. But if someone is doing the offense second times, that means he hasn't learned from the mistake he has done from the first time, and he's again doing that offense. So no matter how the small mistake was, you can offer some small punishment. A big offense, big punishment, like that the king should be administering. So this is what can be used, whom to forgive and whom not to forgive. Devotees, again, devotees who are administering, they have to still look at this. Prabhuji. This is the guideline for people, the service who are doing service like GBCs. They are administering. If they actually forgive all kind of things, then child abuse, then sexual abuse, so many things can happen anywhere. And they cannot be saying that, oh, I am a devotee, I should be forgiving. No, they have to punish. And they have to actually use this. And then punish people. Then even temple presidents, center managers, and other like even Bhakti Vriksha leaders, they have to also have the responsibility of protecting the community. So they also have to actually use some of these to decide to forgive or to take some action against them. But in general, as a devotee, for all the offenses, we should just forgive. That is our quality, because that pleases Krishna. Let law of karma work. We can just forgive, remove resentment from our heart, and Krishna will take care if he has to give some reaction to someone. Finally, how to forgive? It's very simple. There are only 2 points that I'm going to mention of how to forgive. Because finally, forgiving is in a way that there is no action that you have to do. Forgiveness is coming from the heart, right? You have to remove the resentment that is there in your heart. The anger, hatred, envy that is there in your heart, that you have to remove. It is not like seeking forgiveness. There was some step-by-step process that we are going to do. First, do appreciation, then do this, that, like that. Here, there are only 2 points I'm going to, or probably not 2 points. Maybe there are 5 points. But they are all for removing this anarthas from our heart. Okay, first one, we change our perspective. How we can change our perspective? Instead of saying that this person, they have chosen to harm me, we instead should say that this person is forced to act according to their own nature. They were forced to act according to their nature. And this we see when in the example of Brahma, when Lord Brahma did this Brahma Vimohan Leela was happening, after that he has offered the prayers and everything to Lord. And at that time in Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that Brahma has done this misdeed or misbehavior. It was expected from him because of his nature in the mode of passion. He is governing the mode of passion. So sometimes he also gets influenced by mode of passion. Sometimes. So if you are always in the contact of mode of passion, that mode of passion is going to come out somewhere. So out of that mode of passions, what is the main characteristic? Passion. To win. Desiring. Anger, no? Proud. Actually, yeah, some very similar. Putting yourself in the center. Passion means, I am at the center of the universe. Look at me, how powerful I am. Look at this service work that I have done. I should get some reaction or result out of it. All of this is like putting yourself in the center. So Brahma forgot that Krishna is in the center. That comes from mode of passion. He's thinking, is Krishna really the Supreme Personality of Godhead? He's like a small boy. So this is coming from passion. And that is why he said that, okay, let me test him. I am such powerful person, right? I will steal some of his friends and see what he does. So this is coming from passion. So it is coming from his nature. Same, there is another incident of Jadabharata and Rahugana, King Rahugana. So Rahugana is a king, and Jadabharat, and his palanquin carrier calls sick. So he only has 3 palanquin carriers now. And the 4th person is missing. So he wants a person. So he just says that, okay, go on the street and get someone. So they find this Jadabharat who is strong bodied. He's a saint. But they think that, oh, he looks like a madman, but looks powerful. Let's use him for carrying king's chariot, palanquin. So they get him. But Jadabharat is so saintly that he doesn't even want to hurt the ant on the street while walking. So he is carrying the palanquin of the king on one side. So imagine 3 people are steady and Jada Bharat is having the 4th side and he jumping up and down because he sees an ant. What will happen to the king inside? He is also like that is happening in the palanquin. So he becomes very angry and he says, "Are you a fool? Are you a madman? You look like a young person but looks like you are old. You don't have any strength. You are not strong enough." And he chastises him a lot. But then after some conversation happens, he realizes that Jada Bharat is such a saintly person and he is a pure devotee and I have made an offense. So in his forgiveness, he says that what to do? I am a king and the king are supposed to be in passion and they sometimes get angry. So please forgive me. So it is out of his nature, sometimes this happens. And yesterday as well we were taking this example, right? So suppose you are a manager in office and you are giving orders, you are doing this, you are doing that. And sometimes that nature will carry forward when you come to the devotee community. And that passion and ignorance will ruin your relationship with other devotees as well. Because in devotee community, what is important is humility. If you show humility, you are glorified. But if you show bossy nature, then it is a problem. And that will ruin the relationships as well. So anyway, so this is our nature. So when we are doing something, we should not be using nature as our protection. What I am saying is when you are forgiving, you are on the other side. You can say, "Arey, what can that person do?" It is his nature. So instead of making it personal, this person is like this. No, we are just saying that it is nature. By this mode of passion, ignorance that is there in that person, because of that is happening. So this is just a perspective that we are changing to help us. Yes, Mataji, you have some question?
Then, in this case, I'm just trying to so if somebody is doing mistakes, then we not normally keep forgiving them. But the nature, because of the reason we say that is because they are in this nature, they are in the nature. But then where is the question of change? Is there going to be any change happening in this?
Can you make change in others?
Yeah, we can't, but we don't have to worry about it. But then we have to go through the same thing again and again.
Yeah, but that is why what just few minutes ago we discussed, right? No, but if this is the case that forgiveness doesn't make that wrong thing right. What we are doing by forgiveness is removing your resentment from your heart. But that doesn't mean he should not or he or she should not be getting any reaction. But you should not be giving that reaction. Who should be giving? The authority, correct. So if this is happening again and again in the community, you don't have to just sit there relax saying that I have forgiven. Forgiven doesn't actually, you have to also do your duty. You have to report it. Right? If something wrong is happening in the community, if you do not report it, the other person, like the authority doesn't know, then this person may actually just ruin the peace of the entire community. So as soon as possible, you have to report it. So that you have removed your resentment, but at the same time, you are also taking care that some action is taken on that person.
What if it is in the family, are we nurturing the nature or are we going to do something with that? So if we keep on forgiving, so that means we are nurturing the nature of other person. So it will be going to increase and creating more havoc in the family.
Yeah.
What should we do?
So family is just a special scenario, but same rules apply to that as well. Families, we are very close to each other, and like when somebody else does some mistake, one of the things that we can do is we can keep some distance from that person. But in the family situation, even if the problem happens, we are again same, and those pointed stones are again creating more friction. But again, there is still some authority that we can seek. For example, in the devotee community, there are many options that we have. If there is a mentor or counselor that we have, we can actually go and talk to them. Or we have spiritual master, we can go and talk to them. And that is how we can seek some spiritual guidance. And if it is not of that nature, And if you require some marriage counseling or whatever, so you can actually also even go and talk to some marriage counselors. And there are devotee marriage counselors also available, and through them we can seek some benefit. And whenever some advanced devotee comes, like if none of these work, if you can seek some help from some other devotees who are visiting and get some guidance as well. So finally we have to actually seek some guidance. If you remember the mediator that we were talking about, if when two devotees are at the fault, then one thing is we have to actually give the forgiveness. For the first, the person asking for forgiveness, it should be there. But if there is a fear that is there, that if I seek forgiveness, what will happen? Then in that case, we have to actually seek some mediator. So take a mediator and try to resolve the issues, because otherwise they will just grow and grow.
To just look at your story, what has the connection in this point? Change the perspective.
Yeah, so change its perspective is, the one way to look at it, Jada Bharat can say that Rahugana, you are the one who is actually have offended me. But Jada Bharat is saying that, oh, it is a nature of a king. Nature of the king, because they are in passion. Because they are in passion, then that is how it works. And that is related to the second point, which is sometimes some good qualities become our downfall in some other circumstances. So king's nature of being in passion is good in a way. Why? If say suppose if there is a group of brahmanas, if any problem that is given to them, they will discuss and discuss and discuss and discuss and discuss, because that is their nature. But the action will be little bit difficult to come, or it will come but it will take a while, because their nature is intellectuals. Intellectuals will like to talk, and they will talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. अरे लेकिन ये problem अभी तक बाकी है ना, उसका क्या करूँ? No, but they are still discussing. So the action may not come very soon. At this, on the opposite side, if the Kshatriya is there, problem means immediate solution, no thinking. Here there is lot of thinking going on. Kshatriya, immediate solution, and which is required. So suppose there is an enemy king, he has already sent an arrow. He cannot go and think, अरे मैं क्या करूँ, discuss करता हूँ. No, immediate reaction has to be there. So immediate thing is, arrow, before it reaches, this king also, they are so fast, their reaction is so fast, quickly they can remove another arrow, put it on the bow, and even cut that arrow. How is that possible? Because the reaction is very fast. That comes from passion. Quick action. Brahmana means the arrow will come and go through you. Because they are very peaceful. Slowly their actions will be going on. Right? So sometimes the good qualities are there, but those good qualities may be downfall in certain circumstances. That is what we are seeing. Brahmaji is a creator. That is his good quality. He is using that in the service of the Supreme Lord. But creation comes from passion. So sometimes that passion can also create a problem for him. So this is the angle. If we actually start looking at, see, actually this person's nature is forcing him or her to do something. So we are not making it personal, that this person, I say burai hai. We are just saying, hate the sin, not the sinner. So we are actually blaming the nature of that person, not the person directly. Doesn't mean that we are not going to take action, because that punishment can give that correction which was required. Okay? Then we can see the physical body. This is another important point. Say suppose someone is sick, or someone is suppose someone is blind. Just by looking at that person, we know that, oh, this person is blind. Or if say suppose we call a person, oh, come here, and he starts limping, and he comes limping towards us. Just by looking at that, we know that there is some problem in the body, because the gross body is visible. But the challenge is, the subtle body is not visible. So when the subtle body is not visible, we do not even know what all deformities and what all diseases are caught by that subtle body. So the gross body is visible. That's why we are able to immediately see those problems. Say suppose somebody is asked to come running quickly and bring that something to me. But then if he starts limping, then you know that, oh, there is some problem with this person, and we don't get angry on that person. Arey, I told you to come, but you are taking so long to come to me to bring that thing, because we can see this physical problem that is there. Imagine if the subtle body was visible, and now you have said something, and immediately you can see that, oh, subtle body, this wound was already there in that subtle body, and that one line that you have said, it has poked someone. You would already know that, oh, because he is reacting like this, because there was already some wound which was there, and you have poked there. So this visibility is not there to us, like subtle body is not visible. So if we can see the physical body of others, but not their subtle body, which can be wounded, and that those wounds are not visible, and that is why we need to really change our perspective, that it is possible that this person's background or his the personal or the whatever has happened in the past has made him like this, and the subtle body may be wounded quite a lot of places. That is why his reactions or the way that he is doing is like that, and that way we will be able to forgive that person easily, just like we are forgiving the person who was limping and not running towards you, because we can see the deformity. So we have to also understand that there are some deformities in the subtle body as well, and that's why we should be able to forgive that person. So that is the first thing. Second thing that we can do is, perhaps we have to understand that they are in duress, they are in some stress, some pressure already. So give some benefit of doubt to them. And the best example of that is Mother Sita and Lakshman. When Lord Ram has already gone to catch that deer, that golden deer, and from there he has shot the arrow, the deer is now dying. Marich, who was the deer, is dying. What does Marich do? No, Ram, he will call his own name. Yeah, he is calling for Lakshmana's help, using the voice of Lord Ram. And Sita has heard it. Lakshmana has also heard it. Well, Lakshmana is cool. Just like Balram was cool. When Kaliya had captured Krishna, everyone was in anxiety. But Balram was cool, because he knows, there is Krishna, re Baba. Why are you worrying? Kaliya cannot do anything. So here Lakshmana is actually, no, there is no problem. But Sita is in anxiety. Mother Sita is saying, Are you go and help him. He is calling you. He's like, no problem. And she's getting more and more anxious. And in that anxiety, what she says is very, very hurtful. What she says, I know why you are not going to save Lord Ram. Because you want to enjoy me. You are waiting that your brother, Lord Ram, gets killed, and then you will be able to enjoy me. And that is like devastating for Lakshmana. How can anyone say anything like this to Lakshman? Now Lakshman is so faithful servant, he hasn't even seen Mother Sita's face. His gaze is always at her lotus feet only. And that is actually understood in Ramayana afterwards, when Sita is captured and she has put the jewelry together, thrown to some monkeys. So when Lord Ram and Lakshman comes there, the monkeys bring the jewelry. And Lord Ram says, Lakshmana, go and identify if it is Mother Sita's jewelry or not, Sita's jewelry or not. So Lakshmana goes, and the monkeys are trying to show all the jewelries to him. And he says that I don't recognize any of this. I can only recognize Mother Sita's anklet. You show me the anklet and I will tell you whether that is Mother Sita's or not. And they show the anklet and says that yes, this is my mother's. So this Lakshmana. And Mother Sita is saying, you want to enjoy me. Oh my God, this is unthinkable for Lakshmana. And because of that, he's thinking, okay, you want me to go? I will go. So he puts that Lakshman Rekha and he goes. Now, what happens is he goes and meets Ram. And Lord Ram says, why are you here? I asked you to protect her. Where is Sita? No, she is still in hermitage. She is still there in the ashram. Why did you come? I asked you to protect. No, she said, she accused me like this. And he dismisses it. Why you should worry about? She is under pressure, she is under duress. You shouldn't be actually paying attention to her words in this particular situation. So Lord Ram is actually trying to teach us that even if there are some hurtful words which are coming, and especially in husband and wife, you can also see sometimes some hurtful words will come. But you can just understand that, okay, the person was angry or already duress, in under pressure or whatever, some other stress or anxiety, and that is why these words have come. Don't pay too much attention. Don't take it personally. Just ignore them. Like Lord Ram is teaching us. He is saying to Lakshmana, why did you pay attention to it? You should have remained there. Because she was already in duress. She is thinking that, oh, Ram is in trouble. And because of that, she is in so much pressure that she is just accusing Lakshmana. So Lakshmana should have ignored it as per Lord Ram's advice. So we should also try to do that. When somebody is under duress, their words, just ignore them. They are not personally for you. It is just because of their pressure, they are just blabbering something. They too are dear to Krishna. This is another aspect that we can see. In devotee community, we can see that they are continuing their service. Okay, there was some problem between you two, but they are continuing their service to Krishna. And they are having their devotional service, reciprocal relationship with Krishna and other devotees. So other devotees are happy. Krishna is also reciprocating with them. They are also happy like that. So we should see that, oh, actually they are also a devotee. They are also dear to Krishna. Krishna forgives. Why I should actually keep some hatred towards that devotee? So understand that they are also dear to Krishna. Fourth thing is recalibrate our perspective about ourselves. One of the things we can see that when something has happened, say suppose somebody insults you or says something to you, we can look at it from the perspective that what is Krishna's arrangement to remove my pride that I had. So why I should have hatred for others? They are just instrument that Krishna has used for removing my pride. So forgive them immediately. Or see the opportunity to grow in the obstacle. Just like Parikshit Maharaj has grown from the small obstacle that he got. Like small mistake he did, but the big obstacle that came, but he used that obstacle to become even more Krishna conscious. So any obstacle that comes in our path, as we were discussing in the previous retreat, last retreat was opportunities to obstacles. Obstacles to opportunities. Going from obstacles or turning our obstacles into opportunities. So we should take that obstacle and turn into opportunity. Become more Krishna conscious. And the last one is that we should think that I probably made a mistake too. In a situation that was there, we should look at it. Always we are actually focusing on the other person and thinking that that other person has done a mistake. But while discussing or focusing on the other person's mistakes, we forget that, oh, actually we may have also done something wrong. So we should look at it from that perspective as well. And many of the examples that we were talking about, especially Parikshit Maharaj, Shringi and Shamik Rishis, so every one of them accepted some part of the mistake. They thought that, oh, they were responsible for this problem. We also saw the example of Jai Vijay and 4 Kumaras and Lord Krishna. Everyone said that actually it is because of me only that this has happened. Jai Vijay also accepted their mistake. 4 Kumaras also said that, oh, we are actually cutting Lord's arms by cursing them. And Krishna said, actually it was my pastime. I wanted to have this pastime. So this is why this has happened.
Is that really probable thing? Because anything that we are receiving, isn't it because of our karma that we are receiving it? So we are part in it. It's not wrong. It's like for certain that we are receiving it.
Yeah, that is there. But I don't want to be saying that whatever happens is because of our own karma. That is true. But it is like blaming the victim at this current state, current situation. So yes, it is our karma, and that is the point that we are trying to say, that Lord is relieving my pride and seeing the opportunity to grow in the obstacle. It is the same thing in different words. Why? Because we can actually, the basic thing is to see that as an opportunity is that it is burning your own reaction. That it was there, accumulated, by receiving this reaction of your own karma, you have burned that reaction now. You are free of that reaction. Now in future you don't have to get that reaction again. But you can turn it even more bigger opportunity by learning even further from that. And that is the character. The basic thing that the devotee should do is that. But even further than that, we can actually turn it even more opportunity, like Parikshit Maharaj did. Okay, so there is this wonderful poem that I want all of you to read, and it was published as well in our group some time back. This was written by His Grace Mahatma Prabhu. So this is so beautiful. It is one of my favorite poems. So I am going to ask you to read one paragraph at a time. Prabhu, someone wants to start?
I was shocked, confused, bewildered, as I entered Goloka's door, not by the beauty of it all, not the light of its art, its decor.
But it was the devotees in Goloka that I was amazed to see. I knew them all on the earth, but they had so little bhakti.
Next is my Sankirtan leader, the one who stole Krishna's language once. Next to him was my own TP,
TP is temple president, yeah.
who was never ever nice.
Krishna Das, who never preached, who seemed to so insincere, was sitting ecstatically with Krishna, to whom he seemed so dear.
I asked my guru what's going on. Of this I don't know what to make. How did all these devotees end up here? Did someone make a mistake?
And why is everyone so quiet? So over. Give me a clue. Quiet Prabhu. He said they're all in shock. No one thought they will.
Isn't it amazing? We are always thinking that we are so great and we are seeing others' faults. And out of those faults we are thinking, how is it possible that this person is going to go back to Godhead? There is no chance that this person is going to go back. But they are already there in Goloka and they are thinking that, how come this person has ended up here? So this is what it is, that we need to actually understand our own position, that we make so many mistakes. So why should we be reluctant to forgive others if someone else has done the mistake? If you understand this basic thing, then it will be very easy for you to to forgive them. Okay. So there are some last do's and don'ts about forgiveness. Yes, Prabhuji.
So it is our sometimes we are listening all this and then we will probably start implementing to forgive people. But one of the obstacles that I am saying is our nature. So if we are in mode of passion, which is dominating, especially for practicing devotees, then how it will be difficult to forgive.
Yeah, good point. That with passion and ignorance, it will be difficult for us to forgive. But that is why we are following this process, right, Prabhuji? The process is to actually move us from ignorance to passion, passion to goodness, and then goodness to pure goodness. And whenever there is some change that is happening, that change is always, there is friction. And there is always this difficult part, this transformation journey, like in offices as well. When there is some new project coming, there is change management required. Why? Because any change that is coming, especially related to people, is very hard. And that is why we require the support of the community and this requirement of the process that is there. This entire process, Krishna consciousness process of bhakti, is for our own transformation. The scriptures are given so that we can move to pure goodness. But that means there will be some effort that will be required from our end. So by default, the nature is to do this. But if we keep doing what is as per our nature, then we will remain where we are, or in Kali Yuga we will degrade further. only way to progress ahead is to actually go against the flow and do this something which is against our nature. So nature is pushing us to passion and ignorance, but understand what is the response in mode of goodness and try to do that response in mode of goodness. So that is how we can say that, okay, generally how we improve, that first like this something happened and I reacted like this. And then afterwards you are thinking, as a devotee, is that the response right? No, now you are in the sane mind, right? The spur of the moment is gone. And now you are thinking about it. You are doing introspection. Retrospectively. Things have happened and retrospectively you are thinking about it. And then you are thinking, oh, actually next time this happens, the ideal devotee response is like, I should have behaved like this. Now you have actually thought about it. That this was my response. This was not the right response. It was as per my nature. I should have done this response. The good thing is, as I said, because you have failed in the exam is going to come again. Krishna is going to help you again. At that time, because you have thought about it, it is possible that you may remember it and give that reaction like that, response like this. But it is possible that you can again fail. But again, after second or third time, because you have actually done more and more thinking about it, your mind is now getting trained for that response. Sure enough, that situation comes again, and a time will come when you will actually give a response which is in mode of goodness. Because you have done so much introspection, so much manan on that, and that will actually reflect in your action. And you will not be actually going as per your nature. Now you have actually changed your nature, and you have given the response which is in goodness. And then you can start thinking, how in this response, now it becomes your nature. By default, now you are doing like this. Now you are thinking, how a pure devotee will respond in this situation. You ask some pure devotees that if something like this happens to you, what will you do? Or you see from the scriptures how they are responding. Now you start meditating on that. Next time this happens, a pure devotee responds like this. I should respond like this. It will take a while, but we will go there. And the process of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra is also in itself transformative. Any association that we have with Krishna, either in the sound form or the deity form or the scriptural form, that is purifying us as well. So between the two exams, that also has purified us, and the prasad. So all of this is Krishna we are getting association of. So between the two exams, more purification has happened. So it becomes easier if you have already meditated on a response, and this becomes like a push and it helps you to get to that response. So that purification helps you, and then it becomes over a period of time the default for you, and you can go further and take a step further. Okay. So some do's and don'ts. Do not question other person's intention. Like when you remember all the steps while seeking forgiveness, by these do's and don'ts, I am removing all of them when you are forgiving. When we were seeking forgiveness, we said that intention is very important. You have to have the real intention. That is why of seeking forgiveness, that is why we said no ifs and buts, praise first, have genuine remorse, and all of that we have said. But when you are on the other side, no matter how the other person's intention is, take that apology on face value. Don't think that, oh, this person's intention may not be good or bad or like that. You just take it as face value and accept the apology. Second, be satisfied with indirect or conditional apology. While seeking forgiveness, we said no ifs and buts, no indirect apology, no conditional apology. While receiving apology, what we are saying? Any apology comes, take it. Be satisfied. That is the last point. Yes, that is true. So even though there is indirect or some conditional ifs and buts and whatever, you just think that, okay, finally somehow or the other this person has come to this stage of seeking forgiveness. let me forgive. In whichever way he is asking, let us take it. Do not crush them or humiliate them further. Like they have already taken a humble position. So do not think that अभी आया है मेरे अभी मैं दिखाता हूँ उसको. No, we should not be using that to take our revenge. The person is actually seeking for forgiveness. Give forgiveness at that time. Now imagine that Indra's situation that we are talking about. Now if there was one devotee or one person in that entire Srimad Bhagavatam who should be punished severely is Indra. And if someone has to actually go publicly and ask for forgiveness, like go to Vrindavan, find the main Chauraha, like main this place, and call all the Vrajavasis and make Indra beg forgiveness from everyone, then that would have been appropriate. But what Krishna does, Govardhan Leela has been finished, all the Vrajavasis have gone to their homes. Krishna finds a secluded place in the forest. He knows that Indra is coming. He doesn't want to embarrass him further. So he is actually protecting Indra. He knows that Indra is like the king of the heaven. He will have so much false ego. If I ask him, now he has come here, I'll drag him to the Vrinda, to all in front of all the people and ask him to beg forgiveness from everyone. He will be just crushed. So I will protect him as well. So this is what? He is not trying to crush or humiliate them further. And we should also try to do that, if they have already come to this stage, not crush them. And try to normalize the relationship. If possible to you, if they have asked for forgiveness, the result of forgiveness is the relationship was there before, there was some problem that has happened, the relationship, there was some challenges in it. Now the forgiveness has been sought and you have forgiven. The result should be that your relationship should come to normal. Right? So this is what we see. Like Indra was forgiven and Krishna is not saying, okay, I have forgiven you, but now you know you are no longer the king of the heaven. I am taking away that position from you as a punishment. No, he said, okay, now I am forgiven you, go back. Be the king still. So he has normalized that relationship. Then Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni. Where the problem started? Durvasa Muni was hungry, right? And he had come so that he can have prasadam now. But he went for taking bath. It took so long. And then all this drama happened. He kept running. Finally he comes and catches hold of Ambarish Maharaj's lotus feet and seeks forgiveness. And Ambarish Maharaj has prayed to Sudarshan Chakra, Arey, please forgive him quickly. Sudarshan Chakra is gone. This is fine, finished. The first thing Ambarish Maharaj says, you must be hungry. I will feed you. Come. And he immediately makes sure that Durvasa Muni is fed sumptuous prasadam. And then Durvasa Muni says that, okay, now you also eat. And then for that whole year, this one whole year has passed and Ambarish Maharaj hasn't eaten. Because he knows that Durvasa Muni was supposed to eat, he hasn't eaten. He's still running around. He cannot take a break. Sudarshan Chakra is not allowing to take him a break. Arey, lunch time ho gaya re. Khana khane do. No. He's running around. So Durvasa Muni and Ambarish Maharaj both are fasting. So Durvasa Muni says, you also please eat now. And then Ambarish Maharaj eats. So immediately the relationship has been normalized by Ambarish Maharaj. And then, so I'm going to show you a nice video of this normalizing relationship and what is the impact of that. So wonderful.
Once, some of us from Chopati, Mumbai, some of us brahmacharis, one of my seniors, myself, a couple of friends from the ashram, had taken a group of about, let's say, between 50 and 80 kids, but age group 17 till 23, 24, young men and girls, and 2 or 3 couples who were parents to them for a trip. We went. It was going great. And one day, just during the trip, I had to leave the trip earlier to go to Delhi to collect my passport from the Ukrainian consulate, because in 2 days after I returned from the trip, I was to travel to London and then to Ukraine and to Russia and whatever else. So the leader of the trip, the senior devotee, my very close friend, he was there with us. At lunch, I just made a proposal to him. Prabhuji, I have to travel just 2 days after we reach, I have to go. So can I travel to Delhi and pick my passport, because it's not fair that they courier it. We never know when it gets couriered. There are delays, courier delays. He said, well, that sounds okay. How will you go? I said, of course, I'll have to fly, right? And he said, who's going to pay for your flight? I said, well, it's not a question of who's going to pay for the flight. It's a question of there's a need to go. I'm not going on a flight because it's a luxury, right? I would have probably gone on a bullock cart if I had time. But right now it's a need, right? He didn't say anything. I was a nut. Later that afternoon, I proposed the same thing to him again when we were together. He didn't respond. And I truly was crazy. In the evening, when everyone was together, I don't know why I said it, when everyone was around, I said to him, Prabhuji, can I actually go to Delhi? I need to collect my passport and go back. Can't imagine how he blasted me in front of everyone. He just blasted me. He's one of our senior brahmacharis. He just blasted me. And all these younger kids who also look up to me as something, at the end of the day. I know I'm nothing, but at that point I thought I'm something. When you're trashed, you feel like that? That you can't just trash me like this. I'm something, How do you do it in front of everyone? I felt very hurt by the way this gentleman had dealt with me. I went into my room. There are very few occasions when you kind of weep, because we are so close. The potential to do the greatest emotional damage is people who are the closest. People who are on the street don't hurt you as much as someone who's very close to you. I had moist eyes actually. I was crying for 2-3 minutes, tears rolling down my face. It was a bad insult in front of so many people. And I thank the Lord for having given me the intelligence at that point to press the pause button. Before I could react or respond, in that moment of pause, a few moments of pause, I just went down the memory lane to reflect on what this person had done for me. He had been the cause of my spiritual life. He had trained me all through in my spiritual life. All the opportunities to serve, everything was given to me by him. In fact, in times of very serious spiritual crisis, which I had at one point of time in my spiritual life, he was the one who had supported me and brought me out of it all. For so many deposits that had been made, there was one withdrawal that had been made this day. I washed my face, put on fresh tilak, and came down for dinner. And everyone was around. And the gentleman who had blasted me, we started talking as if nothing had happened. We started cracking jokes and started talking to each other and all kinds of stuff, as if nothing had transpired at all. Well, the whole trip was over. I definitely didn't go on the plane. After all of that, I definitely didn't go on the plane. I didn't get a plane ride. And then we were going by train. And on the train, as I sat down in my seat, the senior brahmachari, my very close friend, he came and sat right next to me. He held my hand, and with tears in his eyes, he said, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have blasted you like this. And I said to him, are you considering me an outsider? We have such a close bonding that we even chastise, wouldn't I understand? that you didn't mean it? And believe me, all of these guys who came on the trip, they said that the highlight for their trip was this, not the places that we visited. The highlight for their trip was that this had happened and we didn't bother about it more than what we should have dealt with it, you know. Therefore, when we talk about people doing something to us, forgiveness is again only possible with memory of the good things that have been done to us. And there have been good things that have been done to us. And this is a generic principle again. In applying this in case, will vary case to case, because the hurt that is done is so deep, sometimes you just can't find any good. You know what I mean? These are generic principles.
We have to transform ourselves. And if we can actually see these small problems that we may have, the mistakes that we make, if we are easily forgiving each other and we are normalizing our relationship, we will have such a wonderful community. And that is where we want to go to. We are already very close to each other, and I think, but there is always scope for improvement. So I'm requesting everyone to start seeking forgiveness and start forgiving. The art of forgiving is taught by Lord Krishna himself with such wonderful character that he has, and we are trying to take inspiration from him, inspiration from Srimad Bhagavatam and so many other points that we have seen today and the last 2 days. Let's all of us apply that in our day-to-day life, and as it says, our make America great again, right? So we have to make this community like Vaikuntha, like Goloka. For ourselves, great is not America or whatever, it is like Goloka we have to make, where the wonderful relationship is there between devotees. Okay, we don't have to wait. Yeah, this was the last point. We don't even have to wait for anyone to seek forgiveness, because there are so many benefits in forgiving. Why we have to actually hinge it on someone else to receive those benefits? Even if we are hurt somehow or the other, immediately forgive. Don't actually wait for somebody else for seeking forgiveness, because there are so many benefits. And the most important benefit is Lord Krishna is pleased when we forgive. So if you want to wait for Lord Krishna's forgiveness, we want to wait for someone else to seek forgiveness to become dear to Krishna. No, we want to become dear to Krishna immediately. So immediately forgive. If the other person takes the steps to seek forgiveness, that is their own good. We can immediately forgive at that point in time. And there are many other examples like that, but we will move on ahead. Just to summarize, we have covered today how do we forgive. Why do we forgive is because it is beneficial for us, it is beneficial for others, and also it's a great relief. And the most important thing is Krishna is pleased by forgiving, and we want to please Krishna. How we forgive? We have to change our perspective. Instead of thinking that this person has harmed us, we are actually saying that it is their nature that it is doing. It is their history. It is not about us. Don't make it very personal that, because he had or she had some problem with me, this has happened. No, it is just their nature, this has happened. They are under some pressure, they are under some duress. This is why sometimes they have done something. We need to also see that they are also devotees, they are also dear to Krishna. And Krishna wants us to forgive them. And then change our perspective about ourselves as well. Sometimes we can see that we also was part of that mistake. We also did some mistake. This is an opportunity from Krishna to remove our false ego or pride. And somehow or other Krishna is trying to draw closer to me. So many things that we can think like that. And that is how it is easy for us to then forgive. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai.